think we all love a laugh, but why is it so good? Let's have a look at the psychology of a laugh. Psychology consultant and author Dr. Jo Lukens is with me. Dr. Jo, what actually happens in the brain when we laugh with someone else?
Well, when we share a laugh with someone else, what we know is there's a range of systems within the brain that are actually activated. And when you look at some of the brain studies, we see particularly the reward and the bonding systems are the ones that light up. And I think that makes sense, doesn't it? That when we're having a laugh, it's both fun and it gives us that social connection. So we see many of the chemicals in the brain released, like the endorphins and dopamine and oxytocin. So it's like a little mini high that we get turning down the volume on some of those stress circuits that might be happening for us.
Why is laughter such a powerful stress reducer?
Well, we know that it's good for us socially, as I was just saying, but really significantly what it does is it has those physical effects for us. So we see that cortisol, which obviously is part of what happens for us when we get stressed, that gets significantly reduced. So that hormone has a big effect there. A lot of that physical tension that we might feel in the body relax physically when we're laughing. Our heart rate is impacted, our blood pressure. So we do know that people who laugh more often in the everyday actually report fewer symptoms of stress, even when the difficult moments come along.
Speaking of those difficult moments, sometimes when we do laugh together, I feel like it can also strengthen our relationships.
Yes, it does. We do feel closer to those people with whom we can share a laugh. And I think it's important to notice that it almost acts like a buffer. So even when we're going through challenging times, and I've spoken to some professionals in all sorts of different areas, people in defence, people in health, that even in those moments, even some of the tough moments, if you can share a laugh or find some humour, then that really helps us with the stress. But we do feel more connected to the people around us. So I guess it's our way of saying that you and I see the world in a similar way, and it's safe enough for us to have this fun moment together.
Is there a difference between laughing alone or laughing with others?
There is. Benefits for both. So if anyone's ever had one of those laugh out loud moments by yourself, maybe something funny came along or you saw a meme that made you chuckle out loud, those are always fun moments. But we do know the moments that we share with others, that social laughter really does seem to release more endorphins, and it has that stronger bonding effect. We sometimes talk about our emotions as having mirror neurons, which is where you caught yourself copying the emotions and the facial expressions of someone else, and we do it almost inherently sometimes. So we know that when those things happen, when we're with others, and I guess that's why laughing sometimes feels so contagious.
You're hearing from psychology consultant and author Dr. Jo Lukens. It is contagious. Some people, though, feel like they're not funny. Can they still kind of get the benefits?
I think so. The nice thing is you don't have to be the instigator of the human. If you can connect with the moment and just be willing to notice and share some of those playful moments, the silly ones, even the absurd moments that we see from time to time, the comedies on TV, those sorts of things. So even the small things like exchanging a joke, maybe it's with your barista or laughing at something that hasn't quite gone according to plan, it can still trigger that brain's bonding chemistry. So the good thing is it doesn't rely on all of us to be good at stand-up.
Yeah, that's good to know. Are there times when humour doesn't help or can backfire? Because sometimes I do notice that I do try to break the ice in a tense situation, trying to make other people laugh.
Yeah, and I think when it's used well, it's a really powerful, like you said, an icebreaker, breaks the tension, can be really helpful. And humour is always going to be time, place and audience, isn't it? Making sure that we get the timing right. Are we in the right place? And is the humour we're using appropriate with whoever is hearing it? So it's almost like we've got a code of humour, and you will find different people find different things funny. Part of getting to know people is knowing about that. And I really think the key is having kind humour, so laughing with people rather than at them. There's such a big difference between doing those two things. We always need those skills to read the room.
Dr. Jo, other than a prescription for laughter, which I'm also open to, what's one simple way listeners can use shared laughter this week?
Yeah, I think as much as anything, just tuning into it, being aware of it. And one of the nice things for our well-being is that when we pay attention to the humorous moments, when we look out for them, that's a really hopeful, optimistic way to look at the world anyhow. So if even just noticing funny moments or sharing them with other people, I think is a really great place to start, because what can happen is when we're dealing with the stresses of life and it can all feel very serious, so you turn the news on and certainly the first 4 or 5 articles on the news aren't particularly funny. So, and of course, that's the reality of life. But I think also finding space for the funny things, the humorous things, that's as important for us, particularly from a wellbeing perspective.
Oh, extra encouragement for us to have a little bit of a laugh today. Psychology consultant and author Dr. Jo Lukens.